Emergency order. Exterminate all Metroid organisms on planet Zebus. And defeat the mechanical life form Mother Brain. Hey guys, Stitch is here, and welcome to Let's Play Metroid Zero Mission. This is a game that I've been wanting to Let's Play for a while. There's a little bit of content that, excuse me, I'm trying to like concentrate. There's a little bit of content I was debating discussing like before this. However, I'm gonna save it for a bonus video. Specifically, it's a sort of prequel manga to Metroid. But this is the first game in the Metroid series I am playing. So as such, we gotta go to the game selection. And yeah. So this is a Metroid Zero Mission. It is a 2004 remake slash reimagining of the original Metroid for NES. This was released for the Game Boy Advance in the same year I was born. And the description reads, Space Bounty Hunter Samus Aran is sent on a lone mission to infiltrate the fortified planet of Zebus, traverse through the maze-like base of operations for the space pirates, gaining access to powerful upgrades and items for your weapons and suit. Locate Mother Brain and put a stop to the replication of Metroids. So, Metroid Zero Mission is a remake of the original Metroid that was on the NES. And I kind of want to talk about that. By beating the game to a certain completion, you do actually get access to something. What is the Fusion Gallery, by the way? Looks like it's largely just artwork of Samus's fusion suit from Metroid Fusion. Oh lord, that's midriff. So I guess we'll look at this while we talk about it. God damn, she is so fucking pretty. Anyway, sorry. A bisexual moment where I just am like, ooh, pretty person. But, gotta go to the next one. Okay, that's even more distracting. So, the original Metroid was released for the NES and kind of had a profound impact because it was one of the first major released games that had a female lead, being Samus. And the idea was that by completing the game, Samus would take off more of her power suit at the end of the game, allowing you to see more of the girl underneath. And I always found that interesting because it's weird because it portrays Samus not only as a badass, but still kind of keeps her femininity intact, which is what I like about these artworks, by the way. It kind of just shows Samus, you know, being a girl. You don't really get to see Samus like this very often in the series because, I mean, she's a bounty hunter, so she's got to be such a hard ass all the time. But here you can see some background. This depicts Samus's backstory. So Samus was actually raised on planet Zebes. Because her family was wiped out by Ridley there in the Space Pirates. So this is her as a child and her mom during the attack of the Space Pirates. Eventually she would be raised by a Chozo who would adopt her, and she'd be raised on Zebes, where she'd learn to use the power suit, which would amplify her physical capabilities. So we can kind of see that backstory here. Her growing up on Zebes under the watchful eye of a Chozo. I don't actually remember which Chozo that is. Shows that how much of a Metroid fan I am. It's been a minute. I don't remember which one raised her. Okay. Hold on. I guess I can look it up real quick. Chozo raised Samus. They're typically referred to as Old Bird and Gray Voice. But yeah, Samus would grow up, learn to utilize artificial equipment, eventually becoming a bounty hunter. Here we can kind of see a comic book thing. This depicts the artwork from Metroid Fusion, though. Metroid, baby. So yeah, that's just some artwork. Speaking of Metroid Fusion, I know we haven't really started the game yet. It's been a lot of talking. This game, Zero Mission, came out after Metroid Fusion, which came out in 2002. This game is a remake of Metroid 1 that features a lot of upgrades from Metroid 2, Metroid 3, aka Super Metroid, and Metroid 4, Metroid Fusion. This game is built in the same engine, I believe, as Metroid Fusion, but upgraded. But without further ado, let's actually start the game, and we're going to be playing the game on normal mode. Planet Zebes. I called this place home once in peaceful times, long before evil haunted the caverns below. Now I shall finally tell the tale of my first battle here, my so-called Zero Mission. Samus Aran. Ugh, chills. Anyway, so Metroid Zero Mission. My bullet, that's right, my bullets don't go all the way. Metroid Zero Mission, you know, like I mentioned, it's a Game Boy Advance remake of the first Metroid. I'm gonna turn my volume down. This is a retelling of Metroid 1. But if we come over here to the left, we can get the Morph Ball, our first upgrade. Double tap down to take ball form and gain access to narrow passageways. This game was also pretty notable on the NES for being the first game ever to feature permanent upgrades that you could get for your character. That alongside Castlevania this would spawn a genre known as the Metroidvania genre. But yeah, you get a lot of stuff here. One of the quality of life improvements is you can actually get a map here of Brinstar. There's also a sleep option. That's just so you could like save the game, kind of. Actually, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Gonna be playing with a guide at my side. But yeah. Anyway, there's some what appear to be breakable blocks here, so we can break through these. But if we do this, we can't actually do it. It reveals a different block. So we'll keep pressing on. My first Metroid game actually was not this game, but a fan game heavily inspired by it. Anyway, we can't press on here, so what we can do is use our Morph Ball ability. And if we come up here and Morph Ball again, this Chozo statue will tell us something is located up there. I'm using a guide from OmegaMetroid.com. But yeah, this will fully recharge your energy. Anyway, we can come over here and we will encounter a save room. This game was also pretty notable because in the NES version, it featured a in the NES version of the game, it actually featured, what am I trying to say? A password system that saved your progress, kind of. So, you know, that was interesting. It's one of the first games to kind of incorporate. Oh, that's how the lock works in this game. Okay. I was trying to figure out how you aim down by default. Diagonal aim is just up and down, and then you press the left trigger. Obviously, that is a feature of just this. The original Metroid did not have diagonal aiming. But we can come up here, kill that. Those purple things are health, by the way. But Metroid's a pretty interesting series because this would actually be the last mainline Metroid game release that wasn't a part of the Prime series. Up until, like, Samus Returns, a remake of Metroid 2 for the 3DS, or like a reimagining of the story of Metroid 2, kind of similar to this. But it was on the 3DS. There's definitely something over there, but we can't get it yet. While we would think we could go in here, we actually can't. Our beam does not shoot far enough. Boo. My first Metroid game, though, was not a regular Metroid game. It was a fan game called AM2R, which was a remake of Metroid 2 in the style of this game. Those things will try to dive down at you, so keep that in mind. If we try to come up here, by the way, we also run into that same issue of I can't do it. But you can actually avoid these guys kind of by going into the morph ball because you move pretty significantly faster. Anyway, we can come in here and get access to this. This is our first upgrade, the long beam. I actually don't know if this was a thing in the original Metroid, but long beam, fire long distance shots with this beam. Press L plus B to fire diagonally. That's kind of just a thing, but yeah, the long beam makes our stuff look slightly different, and our beams now fire longer. I will also say this version of the game is much easier than the original, because of the quality of life features. I just prefer this version of Metroid over the NES version, but you know, I respect the NES version. It's got gumption. But yeah. Anyway, now we can kill these guys from the ground. And we can get through here. But why would we go over there back quite yet when we can go up? So why not try to go up? We duck there to kind of aim a little better. Anyway, this gives us a new path up here. You may notice you have two jumps, by the way, a flip and a regular jump. If you want to do a regular jump, jump and then move. Moving and then jumping causes you to do a flip. So like, I'm holding left right now and I jump and do that. But if I want to do a regular jump, jump and do the left. They're used for different things. Anyway, if we come over here, there's a statue that prevents us from going left. This one on the right is Kraid, the co-leader of the Space Pirates, along with the left, Ridley. Ridley is the one who murdered our parents, so I don't know if that stuff was really established until the Prime games. Metroid Prime games are weird because I think they take place after this game, but like before Metroid 2. First damage. Run, ruin. Anyway, we can come here. Don't worry, these recharge your energy, by the way. But we get highlighted with some ancient knowledge again that there is something to the right in an unknown part of our map. So, you know, that's cool. Some other popular Metroidvanias you might know, by the way, I believe Noita is considered a Metroidvania. And a roguelike. Actually, it might just be a roguelike. Here, let me look up Noita real quick. I don't know why Noita came to mind, because in my head, I thought Hollow Knight. Let's see what it's classed as on Steam. Not a Metroidvania, I made that up. But some popular Metroidvanias you may be aware of, other than Metroid and Castlevania, are things like Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong are both considered Metroidvanias. The Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will-o'-the-Wisp are both listed as Metroidvanias. Nine Souls, Axiom Verge. And Cave Story. Cave Story is a game I like quite a bit, so... Anyways, we're at 20 minutes. I don't know how long I want to make this video. By the way, you can't kill these flying turtle things. Just not possible. By the way, these things aren't all called Metroids. Metroids are a very specific thing we will see later. Wait, if we come over here, there's a red door. You can't do anything with that yet. So you're kind of left with two options. You can go down or up. Let's go up first. Because I'm quirky. I took damage. Of course, you, the one I can reach, don't actually give me anything. What could be in here? Oh, you guys gave me some stuff, though. In here is something we can do if we hit that. Thought we couldn't. Except we can't. We can only kind of do it. And we can't go up any further, not without a later ability that will help us. So down it is. Oop. Anyway, there's a down and there's a further down save room here, but I'll wait to save. I'll probably only end the video at save rooms, even though I don't have to do that. But anyways, down here is where we really want to go. Something's making a ruckus. And here we get another new upgrade, the missile tank. I believe this is what the right trigger is used for, either that or it's the select button. Plus, press R plus B to fire. Oh yeah, it's hold in this game, that's right. So holding this down, you can see changes your arm cannon sprite. By the way, I do want to point out that they did actually bother to give Samus two different sprites, so that way her gun is always on the right side. Actually, can I clear that? No, we cannot. There's not much we can do here, even with our newly acquired missiles, though. At least I don't think there is. Because I think you need a, ow. Or, by the way, that stuff is acid. It'll hurt you if you step in it like I did. You can use this thing, though, to heal up the good old-fashioned way. But if you try to come back through here, this creature will attack us. This is our first boss. Kind of. More of a tutorial boss. It kind of teaches you that missiles are used for specific things. Because if you try to attack it with your beams, it just doesn't work. Now, I'm gonna rewind and see if I can't do that a little better. God damn it. It takes 3 missiles to kill Bro here. Doing so is worth it because it gives you the charge beam. The charge beam, hold B to charge and release to fire. And you can do a charge attack by jumping with a full charge. So yeah, I already got a few different upgrades. But yeah, the charge beam is pretty good. It kind of makes Samus play like Mega Man a little bit. So if you're familiar with Mega Man, also Mega Man Zero is actually a very popular one. I have played Hollow Knight on the channel, by the way. Only very briefly though in live streams, and I haven't touched it in a while, so you know, maybe I should do that at some point. Anyways, I think it's time that we save and we end the video. So thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. You should also subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications. Additionally, you should check out the links in the description. There's links to my social media, on Blue Sky and Twitter, my Twitch page where I live stream, and my Ko-Fi page where for $3 a month you can become a monthly member and get access to perks like exclusive content or early content. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.